Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I have a video that I've been planning for a while to share with you guys. So this, I'm not sure what I'm going to title this yet. It's kind of like a first impressions mini review of makeup products that I purchased on the shopmissa site. So some of these are from Clean Color, some are from a brand called Santee. We'll go through each one individually. So originally when I sat down to film this, I actually was doing a get ready with me style video, and I started applying the products, and the further and further I got into it, it was like a snowball effect. The worse it got, and I ended up looking pretty crazy. I feel like I looked like a clown. So some of these products contributed to the clowniness. Other ones were actually pretty decent. So I'm going to one by one talk about how each product applied and all of that. I'm not sure if I'm going to include the footage because, to be very honest with you guys, I have done get ready with me's and tutorials where I've started out with a naked face, and you guys know I'm not usually shy about sharing videos where I look less than perfect. I'm okay with doing that, but this video footage, which I just reviewed, is pretty awful. So the main reason is this guy right here. This is the Santee Magic BB Beautifier. So I started by applying this, and honestly, this definitely affected a lot of the other products that I was using, which I'll talk more in depth about this. But when I applied this, it kind of, not only did it not cover any of my blemishes, but it almost highlighted every negative aspect of my face. So any areas where I had a little bit of breakouts, it made them look even more pronounced instead of covering them. It started to cake up around my eyebrows, and it caked up right here on my lip as well. I do have hair there. It's blonde, but I do have hair there, and this honestly stuck to all of that facial hair and made it look like I had a mustache. So now I feel like I need to go and wax my lip right now. But TMI, didn't want to share that with you guys, but this like stuck to everything and made me look horrible, like horrible. Also, I did notice when I was watching back the footage, like on my cheeks right here, when I was applying it, my cheeks were complexion was pretty even right along this area in my cheeks. But after I applied this, all of a sudden I had these red splotches everywhere. So I think it was a reaction to this, because the moisturizer and everything else that I used before this morning, like my cleanser and moisturizer, is products I've been using for a long time and I know I love. And then all of a sudden I applied this and I started getting these blotches everywhere, which I didn't notice it in person, but when I was watching the footage back, I was like, oh my goodness, I have all of these splotches. So as I mentioned, this was a horrible product. I just really didn't like this at all. It didn't give me any coverage. Like I said, it actually felt like it was highlighting everything on my face that I was trying to cover up, so everything was shining through and in all its glory. So I didn't like this for that reason. Also, on top of that, I had a very oranginess to it. By the way, I did remove all my makeup and start over because I did look like a clown. But this actually was so kind of orangey on me, which was not flattering at all either. And it left my skin super tacky, like very, very tacky. I even set it with a powder. I used a Clean Color powder to set it. And even though I set it, it was still tacky after setting it. So this was a big thumbs down. I definitely would suggest not purchasing this. So far, this is like the third foundation I've tried from the shopmissa site, and none of them have been good for me personally, but this one was just awful. So after that, I did apply this Clean Color powder, which I mentioned already. This is one I've actually owned for quite some time now, maybe 9 months or so, and I've used this several times previous to using it this morning, and I actually really do like this quite a bit. So I don't feel like this was adding to any of that cakiness. It was definitely this product, because I've used this before with other foundations and never had a problem with it getting cakey on me. So I do actually recommend this. This is the Clean Color Fresh Answer Compact Foundation, and I have this shade Sand Beige. So this was a good one. Okay, from there I did actually use this Clean Color bronzer, which is the Tanned Roar bronzer in the shade Matte Tahiti. This is another product from Clean Color which I have used before. I've owned it for some time and I really like this. Even though I had a very tacky finish from this, I still felt like my bronzer actually did blend out pretty nicely even over the top of that tackiness. So I do really like this bronzer. It's a good quality. That being said, the next product I used was this Malibu Glitz blush. This is the shade number 3. It doesn't have a name, it just says number 3. So this is super pigmented, which is actually a plus. There's a little swatch right there for you guys. Very pigmented. So this I actually want to try again without using this, because what happened when I used this, which definitely made me look like a clown, I only applied a little bit lightly on my brush because I knew it was very pigmented and I didn't want a ton of blush on. So I was very light-handed with picking it up on my brush. However, as soon as I laid my blush down on my cheeks, because they were so tacky still from that Santee BB, I had very blotchy pink spots all over my cheek and I could not blend it out. I blended and blended using brushes that have always worked great for me for blush, and it was awful. It was very patchy, extremely pigmented. I mean, it was like up here on my I had it all the way up to like my eye basically. It was like all over my face. Very pigmented, but like crazy splotchy, crazy color. It was just really bad. So I'm not 100% sure that it was this guy, so I really don't want to say for sure whether or not you should get these yet, guys, because I would like to try them a few more times without that Santee. I really think the Santee was the problem with this guy today. I don't think it was a performance issue with this blush. So I am going to try this again when I have a different product underneath, and I will get back to you guys about how I feel about these. One thing for sure I can say is that they are very pigmented, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just it didn't work well with that Santee BB cream. Okay, so moving on. The next product that I used was also from Clean Color. That is this one here. It's the eyeshadow primer in matte, and this does have a yellow tint to it. So this is another product that I'm not sure yet how I feel about it. I feel like I need to use it a few more times to really get a feel for it. It goes on yellow like I mentioned, and at first when you blend it out, it's super liquidy. So I had a little bit of a hard time blending it at first, but the more you blend it, it starts to turn tacky. So now it's like tacky, which is not necessarily bad for an eyeshadow primer. Sometimes tacky is good because it'll help your eyeshadows go on more pigmented, especially if you're using a very shimmery, like metallic finish eyeshadow that you really want to build up the pigmentation on. That actually might work good for that. So I am going to try this with a few more eyeshadows to get a better feel for it, but I'm still very intrigued by this guy, I should say. So that's how I feel about that so far. And on top of that, I used this little Clean Color eyeshadow palette. This is a 5-color eyeshadow palette in the shade Bahamas. And it's all neutral colors, and they're all very warm colors as well. So this is what it looks like. Now this is the only thing I did not take off. So I do still have these on my lid. What I did is used this kind of yellowy gold here on the lid. I used this shade right here as my transition. Even though it has shimmer in it, it was the only shade that would actually work for a transition color in this palette, so that is what I used. And then I used this darker brown shade right here to deepen up the outer corner, and then ran that along my lower lash line as well. So I was a little bit on the fence with this. I feel like the reason I didn't wash it off my eyes is because I really want to see how it lasts throughout the day. It went on very pigmented. It was a little difficult to blend, and again, I don't know if that was from this or from this. So I think I want to try this again with an eyeshadow primer that I know I love and I know how it performs, so that I can judge this better without, you know, sometimes when you use 2 new products together and you don't get a result you like, you're not sure which product it was that caused that. So I'm definitely going to try this again with a different primer. But I'm also going to leave this on today because I really would like to see how well they stay on my lid. I want to see for both products, you know, does it last? Is it going to fade away? All of that good stuff. So I did leave that on my eyes. I didn't have any concealers or anything from shopmissa. I also didn't have any mascaras or liners, so I wasn't able to try any of those out. But the next thing that I tried was also from the brand Santee. This is called the Santee Eyebrow Designer. I have the shade light brown. It is a like triangular shape brow pencil, very similar to the brand new brow definer from Anastasia. And it does have a built-in spoolie. It's actually kind of a fatter spoolie. It's not as nice as the Anastasia one that's really nice and thin and small. It's a little bit thick and bulky, but it still works. So this pencil, this was another miss for me, unfortunately. So the pencil itself is very, very waxy. And for a brow product, I mean, you do want to have like a wax-based product to hold your brows in place. However, this one was so waxy. The problem I had with it is I would go ahead, you know, and apply the product, and then I would try to go back over it to build it up a little bit or to smooth it out or even it out. And instead of actually building it up, the second swipe through would actually remove the product I put on the first time. So I really struggled with getting them even, number one, and getting them built up to the coverage that I like for my brows. So for me, that was a miss. Now, I do have extremely sparse, very blonde brows, so I actually have to work pretty hard to get my brows to look the way they do. I do need quite a bit of product. If you guys have been watching my channel for a while, you know that the Brow Wiz is my holy grail brow product. I just like how easy it is to brush through. You can build up the color. It's very easy to sculpt out your brows. It is wax-based as well, but it's not as waxy as this one. It still glides, it's very smooth, it can be built up, and that was what was missing from this pencil for me. Now, that being said, I feel like if you have pretty full brows and you want a pencil that you can use that's wax-based to hold your brows in place and maybe just add a little bit of color where you might have a little bit of sparseness, you might actually like this. But for someone like me who has very, very sparse brows and I need a lot of work on them, it didn't work for me. So the last product that I tried out today was this Santee Liquid Matte Lipstick. And it doesn't say a shade anywhere on here, unfortunately. I wish they had the shade on here. I think it was on the original packaging, which I already threw away. But it's a beautiful kind of a rosy pink. I will swatch it for you guys. So I actually was pretty pleased with this. The only reason I changed out my lipstick is because I didn't feel like it worked well with the eyes. I felt like the eyes were so warm and then this was so cool. I didn't like the way they looked together. Otherwise, I would have kept this on. I definitely want to try this again where I can wear it longer because I only had it on for maybe an hour, and I actually felt like it was really comfortable though. It went on very smoothly. The only thing is, I'll show you my swatch. It did go a little patchy, so one coat won't quite do it. You do have to kind of go maybe 2 or 3 coats to get a very even, very full application where your lips aren't going to show through. So that is the only thing about it, but once it dried down, it didn't feel really tight, and you know, a lot of liquid lipsticks sometimes can feel so dry even immediately after you apply it. This one, I had it only for like an hour, as I said, but it was very, very comfortable during that time. So I definitely want to try this again, wear it all day so I can give you guys an update. If you'd like to see like a wear test video on this or one of the other liquid lipsticks that I picked up, please let me know. Leave me comments down below. Those were all of the clean color products that I tried out today, so this is kind of like a first impressions, I guess. I might include a little bit of the footage. Like I said, I'm a little embarrassed with how it turned out. I just felt like I looked really crazy, and I don't know. We'll see. But if I do include that, it will be at the end. Otherwise, I did take some photos to show you guys how bad it was. I feel like I looked like a complete train wreck. So I will include something at the end of this video to kind of show you guys how it all went together. But I hope you guys found this video useful. If you have any questions or comments for me, make sure to leave those below. I'd be happy to answer those. And have a wonderful day, you guys. I will see you in my next video. Bye, guys.